Good afternoon, dear students. My name is Efremovska Keti, and I'm a teacher at the secondary municipal school, Mircea Jazik in Prilev. Well, today I'm going to be your English teacher, and what we are going to talk about today is family ties. How can you define what family ties are? Of course, we may say that it is relationship or relationships between people in the same family. Now, I would like you to think about other words or words that can be used instead of word ties in this same context. For example, relationships, bonds, or connections. What can we see on this picture? Well, of course, yes, you might answer that we can see hands from people from different generations, or maybe part of the same family. A question for you, just to think about. Who do you have a strong bond or a strong relationship with in your family? And if you can, please explain why. And on the other hand, who do you don't get on so well? And again, why? Well, as I said, we're going to talk about our families and what makes us who we are. So part of the answer is actually in our family's past. Well, when you look in the mirror, who do you see? Do you see your father's smile? Maybe your mother's smile? Maybe you take after your mother? Maybe you have your grandmother's eyes. So whatever you see, it's because of the DNA. That is because DNA contains genes that are our body's unique set of instructions, including how they look. Well, here I have also an explanation about what a gene is. It's part of a cell passed from parents to children that determines how they look. These genes are passed down through generations, and if you're wondering which part of the world your ancestors were from, a scientific test known as the DNA test can show you. And not only the way you look, but also we inherit much more from one generation to the next one. Families pass down their favorite foods, traditions, and stories. Today I want to talk about different ways how can we learn about our family's history. I'm going to give you 3 different ways, and of course, if you have any other suggestions, you can name them down. Let's start from genealogy. Since we already explained what genes are, we might say that genealogy is study of people who you're related to. Well, genealogy actually helps you to piece together your family history. It starts, of course, from relatives you know, your parents and grandparents, and that it takes you back in time. And you can learn about ancestors who lived and died long ago before you were born. Second way of how can you find out more about your family's history is by asking questions. And who should you start asking questions? Well, of course, you may start asking your parents, your grandparents, your close family, extended family. Ask about the people, members of the family that lived before you. Who were they? Where did they grow up? And maybe it is a good idea to take notes while you're talking to other family members. Make sure you write down some names, dates, places that people mention maybe. Okay? So if you have tried and to make a family tree, probably there were some gaps in it. So maybe it's time to investigate a little bit. Well, many people begin their research at the library because libraries are places where you can look for family names, maybe in old newspapers. And these public records are usually a very good thing to check out too, because in them you can find records such as birth, marriage, and death certificates that might help you. Also, some records show when people immigrated to another country. Records also tell you where people went to school, what their profession was, and so on and so on. And at the end, you may also always search the internet and discover your family's history. Okay, let's do a short exercise here. Take a look at the words in red, bold red letters. Take after, looks, unique, relative, grow up, in marriage. Next to each of them, there are two possible answers. Okay, so let's try and do this together. What do you think take after means? Does it mean the first answer is to follow somebody? And the second answer is to look like somebody. And of course, the correct answer is the second, to look like somebody. Looks is the second word. And does it mean features of the face or personality? Well, in this case, of course, it means features of the face. Unique. Does it mean normal or different? Of course, it's different. What is a relative? Is it a family member or a close friend? Well, of course, we know that relative is actually the first answer, family member. Okay, so what does it mean to grow up? Does it mean to become an adult or to become a child? To grow up means to become an adult, of course. And what is marriage? Is it for parents and children or for husband and wife? Yes, I know that you can guess it's for husband and wife. Well, here I have 4 questions, okay, multiple choice questions from what we've been talking before. So let's do this together. Well, my first question is, what information can a DNA test give you? A, where your ancestors lived. B, how many relatives you have. Or C, where your relatives went to school. So take your time for a while, okay? You may always go back to the presentation, to the video, and find out the answer. Of course, the correct answer is A. DNA test can give you information in A, where your ancestors lived. Okay? Next question. What can genealogy tell you about? Is it your family's favorite foods, the history of your family, or when the next family get-together is? Okay? Think about it. Of course, the correct answer is B. Genealogy tells you about the history of your family. Okay, the third question. What does a family tree show you? A, your family's special traditions. B, where you can research names. Or C, your relationship to others in your family. This one's very easy. Okay, so yes, the correct answer is C, your relationship to others in the family. This is the last question, actually. What can you find in public records? Is it A, instructions for your family? Is it B, old newspapers? Or C, when someone was born? Of course, the correct answer is C, when someone was born. Well, I hope we learned something today and that you enjoyed the class. So thank you for your attention, and I wish you to have a great day.